Namrata, Chinmay, Anagha. Okay. Tanushri, Aksha. All right. Okay, Namaskar, Hari Om. A very good evening and welcome to this special revision session for the class 10 students on geography on the chapter, on the chapter manufacturing industries. So the agenda is first I'll just take a walkthrough of the chapter as fast as possible because I don't want to keep talking too much. And then after that, we will cover some of the important questions. Some questions that were asked before in all the different board papers, etc. So I hope my screen is visible. Now, manufacturing industries. Basically, manufacturing industry is a backbone of the economy. Okay, it is one of the major backbones of economy because it sorry again, it helps modernize agriculture, it reduces poverty and unemployment, and it helps us export the finished goods and increase in the foreign exchange. All right. Now, modernize agriculture. Who can tell me, who can explain? Shama, go ahead. Try.
We can produce machines and some other things which make agriculture easier.
Super. Yes. Modernizing agriculture means using heavy machinery for agriculture. Now, to make heavy machinery for agriculture, what do you need? You need that kind of machine, right? You need that kind of raw material like iron, steel, then a lot of different infrastructure, etc. And when you modernize agriculture, naturally what happens is the harvest increases, the output or the productivity increases. All right. Then it reduces unemployment. Who can say that? Anish, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Anish. Yes, please, Anish, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what is how does industry reduce poverty and unemployment?
Availability of jobs can be seen, and
Yes, the main thing to survive, what do we need apart from food, water, air, food, water, shelter? The main thing we need is taka. In Bangla, they say taka. In Malayalam, they say paisa. Right? And in English, the universal language, one of the universal languages, we say money. Right? Now, when it comes to agriculture, in the previous times and all, the income was very unsteady. All right. Sometimes you get a very good harvest, sometimes you don't get a very good harvest, sometimes you get a good pricing. So the income was very unsteady. When it comes to manufacturing industry, once you're employed in the manufacturing industry, what happens? Every month you have a fixed amount that comes to your pocket or your bank as a income. Okay, so you have like maybe 5,000, 10,000, 7,000, whatever be the amount. That much amount is assured. Okay, so in that way, the unemployment is also reduced and there is lesser amount of poverty. Then exporting finished goods bring in foreign exchange. Before this particular point, it should have been the fourth point, which is raw material to finished goods that becomes more valuable. Tanushri, can you give me an example, raw material to finished goods that become more valuable?
Yes, cotton, textiles.
That's exactly what I also had in my mind. Yes. Now, if you go to the market and buy balls of cotton and then you bring it back home and you actually make the yarn and then you weave the yarn together, make the cloth, and then you cut the cloth and actually stitch a shirt for yourself. That is going to take a long process. Plus, what is happening? It is far lesser valuable. Okay, the raw material, because you buy the raw material at a far cheaper rate. Okay, when it becomes finished goods, it becomes more valuable, because when you go to the market to buy a shirt, you're like, there are so many varieties: red, blue, yellow, pink, green, God knows what all varieties and what all designs are there. है ना? So it becomes more valuable. Raw material to finished goods, if we ourselves are making, we have only one color. We will not go too much for variety, because most of us must have lost patience. Okay. But yes, there are some of us who are passionate enough, but that's a different story altogether. Okay. So these are the 4 important points how manufacturing industry is a backbone. It helps modernize agriculture, it reduces poverty and unemployment, then it helps the raw material convert itself to finished goods. Obviously, we cannot sit at home and make it to finished good, right? If we take it in the industry or in a factory, we can actually make it in bulk. So raw material to finished goods make it more valuable, and exporting all these finished goods bring in more foreign exchange. Best example, a shirt of 100 rupees in India will cost you about at least 500 rupees somewhere in the US or UK or somewhere else. Okay. So that is, it brings in more amount of foreign exchange. Then we move on. How is raw material converted to the final good? So this is a flow chart. You just remember this flow chart, the entire process, you will know it. Okay. Just remember this flow chart. So I ask Chinmay, can you please read this?
Raw materials, transport, factory, finished goods, and transport.
What does this mean, this entire thing?
First, the
Anagha? Yeah, go ahead, Chinmay. Go ahead. Sorry.
First, the raw materials are transported to the factory to make them as finished goods. Then again, it is transported to the shops, which can be consumed by customers.
Yes, very good. So here, one very important point is missing. I was hoping that somebody would point that out. That is, from the raw material, the raw material from the field is transported to the factory. Then in the factory, you actually make the finished goods, and the finished goods are then transported. It cannot go by magic, no? It can only be transported. It will again get transported to the market. Okay. Now, both this and this gives you money. All right. Both raw materials also give you money. The finished goods in the market also, they give you money. Now, moving on. This explains the location of the industry. Anatha, I will not talk. You talk. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you just read these 8 points? Sorry.
Raw materials, source of energy, source of water, availability of capital and finance, demand in market, skilled laborers and workers, banking and insurance, transport and communication.
What does all this mean? What is this? Industry location, raw material, source of water, source of energy, demand in market, blah, 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 blah.
These
What
are
is all
the
this?
process in which manufacturing takes place.
So before you set up an industry or a factory, these are the 8 points that have to be taken into consideration. Okay. How easily the raw materials are available. Okay. Then that's the first point. Whether the raw materials are very difficult to procure, or it can be procured, but it takes a little bit of time. Or once the raw materials are procured, immediately it has to be processed. As in case of sugarcane. Okay. Sugarcane, what happens? Immediately it has to be processed to sugar. So is that the case? These are the different cases that have to be taken into consideration before you set a factory. Similarly, what is your source of energy? Is it electricity? Is it coal? Is it something else? Is it thermal power, hydro power? What is it? What is your source of energy? Then where do you get water? Water is like a very big issue nowadays because it is factory. Okay. It is not houses like yours and mine. It's a big factory. You need lakhs of liters of water. Is the location suitable enough to provide that many liters of water? Can we have that much of water capacity? Can we easily get it, or do we have to look at some other source? So many many factories, especially the brewery, just because this came into my mind. Okay, the brewery is a place where beer, wines and all are manufactured. Okay, now brewery, even yeast, baker's yeast, these factories are located very near the sea. Why? Because you need tons and tons of liters of water. Okay, so it is located very near the sea, and then after processing and everything, before they release the wastewater, they have to treat it, put it back into the sea. Okay, so these two reasons, they consider these two reasons for industrial location or a factory location. Then availability of capital and finance. As I told you before, taka, right? You need money. Without money, you cannot set up a factory. Even if it is 10,000 rupees, that is also okay. But with that money, you have to set a small industry or a factory. And then slowly with the profit you earn, you can actually expand it. Then depends on the demand in market. Okay. If people do not want it, then there is no point in setting up the factory. All right. So for this, I'll tell you one story later. You might have heard it, but I'll repeat it. You'll have to listen to me. Demand in market, then availability of workers and laborers. Then another thing is insurance and banking. Is banking available very easily? Are the banks located nearby? The insurances and everything, they are friendly, user friendly, or can we use them pretty easily? Okay, and last but not the least, transport and communication. Now, this is one major reason why factories are as such very rare in Arunachal Pradesh. AP is not Andhra Pradesh. I tried to do Control Z, but I couldn't. AP, this is not Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, because Arunachal Pradesh is like in one remote corner on top of the hill. You have to keep going, winding and winding and winding. So it becomes very difficult to actually transport everything here and there quite frequently. Okay, all right. So these are the 8 points that are very necessary that should be considered before you set up a factory. What are they? Logically, the raw material, source of energy, source of water. Source of energy and water, these two are very important because without water and energy, you cannot do anything. Raw material should be there because without getting iron ore, can you make iron and steel? No. Can you manufacture iron and steel? No, nah. That is what. Then without having any sort of capital, because you need to pay the laborers, you need to pay for the land, you need to pay the rent for the place that you take on lease or whatever. So you need to have money in that. Then the demand in market, that you should be able to ultimately sell the particular product. Okay. Then skilled laborers and workers. Then banking, insurance, transport and communication. All right. Now, without boring you further, we'll go to the next part, which is classification of industry. Now, industries are classified into 4 major types. Raw material, the main role, investment, ownership. Raw material, based on raw material, whether it is an agro industry or a mineral industry. Similarly, what is the role it performs? Now, agro industry, all your tea leaves, coffee plantation, all these things are raw materials. I mean, agro-based industries. Mineral, the best example is iron and steel, mineral-based. Then what is the main role? Is it basic or is it consumer-based? Now, basic means from iron, I'll tell you what happens in iron and steel, okay? They extract the iron ore. From the iron ore, they actually extract iron, make it into molds, and then they sell it. Okay. Then after that, maybe the railway manufacturers or steel manufacturers, etc., they buy it and then they use it for some other purpose. Some of them buy these iron and the steel rods for the building purposes. Okay, so that is, they actually buy the pig iron or the iron manufactured from the mold, and then they actually again further process it to make it into something else. All right, that is basic. Then is consumer based. Consumer based, all your toothpaste, textiles, and mineral water, all these things are consumer based because directly it comes to us. Okay, mineral water, bottled mineral water, once it is bottled, it directly comes to us. No, it does not go anywhere else. So those are consumer based industries. Then comes the investment. Now, in investment, we only have the small scale industry. Now, in small scale, a maximum investment of 1 crore is nowadays recognized as a small scale. Anything less than 1 crore is a small scale industry. Then comes the ownership. Ownership are of 3 types, that is private, public, and joint. Private is all your Tatas and Birlas and Ambanis. Public comes to Maruti, not Maruti, sorry, Hindustan Petroleum, ONGC, all those things are public. Then is joint. Joint is a partnership between the private and the public. So your Maruti car, that is a joint ownership. All right. So these are the 4 different types of industries. I have been talking for a very long time. Now I'll stop the screen share. You all tell me. Anything not clear to you so far? Ayyo Rama, Clinic Plus all clear. Very nice. Wait, now I'll give you conditioner also. All right. Now moving forward. Okay, why is this? Yeah, here it is. This is my favorite part. Okay. What is this? Anybody? Just unmute yourself.
Map of textile industry.
Map of textile industry. So just read the map and tell me what is there and how it is there and all that. You all do it. I'm not saying.
Distribution of cotton, woolen, and silk textile.
Okay. Then tell me something. Where do you find the cotton industry, cotton textile industry? Tanushree, go ahead.
We find black soil.
Tell me the names of the places. Are you able to see the screen properly? Can you see the names of the places?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me.
Coimbatore, Chennai, Pune.
Then, can you find it somewhere in the north? Like in Srinagar, Amritsar and all? Extreme north?
No.
Why? Why it is not there in the north?
Favorable condition. There may not be a favorable condition.
Cotton, what is the favorable condition?
Black soil is required.
Okay, what else? This is something.
Climate.
Yeah, I beg your pardon. Please come again.
Moist climate.
Okay, warm climate. Yes. So, who uses, in which area, or rather, I reframe my question. Which season do we use cotton clothes? You all must have learnt it in smaller classes, no? Which season?
Summer.
Summer season. Why? So that because the summer is extreme and we feel less hotter when we wear cotton clothes, right? Now in Srinagar, Amritsar and all, you don't get too much summer pa. Okay. There it is much on the colder side. All right. That is why you find lesser and lesser amount of cotton industries on the northern side. Of course, what you said about black soil is also correct. Another reason is the demand in the market. Okay. Comparatively, there is far lesser demand for cotton clothes in places like Baramulla or Ludhiana and Gurgaon, etc. Gurgaon, of course, to some extent, they do use cotton clothes because the heat is extreme during summer. But comparatively, it is far lesser. Okay. Now, another interesting thing. If you see the woolen textiles, there is a woolen textile here in Bikaner, Jaipur. Why is that so? Any idea? Why
Because of
don't
the
we have a
demand.
cotton? Yeah, please go ahead.
Because of the demand.
Because of the demand. Okay, why don't we have cotton? Cotton is also very much in demand over there. There your black soil comes in. Okay. You don't find that suitable type of soil over there. That is why in Rajasthan and all, they manufacture woolen textiles more. They use a lot of cotton, but they cannot manufacture cotton over there simply because the soil is not suitable for that. Okay, and they don't even have that much amount of that kind of water. But woolen textile is very much manufactured as well as it is in demand because the winters and the nights are very cold. In Rajasthan, it is harsh winter and the nights are very cold. So you use a lot of woolen textile over there. All right. Then comes your silk. Now, silk is used in the best place you can remember for silk is one is Kanchipuram, Mysore, then Murshidabad, then Kashmiri silk, Srinagar. Okay, these four places you remember, it is more than enough for your exam point of view. Okay. Silk, starting from the south, we have Kanchipuram or rather Tamil Nadu area. Then we have above Kolar, Mysore. Then we have on the eastern side, that is West Bengal, that area, that is Murshidabad. Then we have Hooghly. All right, no, Hooghly it is not there. Silk is not there. Murshidabad is there. That is one place you can very well remember because Murshidabad silk is very famous. Then is Kashmir Pashmina silk. Okay, that is in Srinagar. These four places you remember, it is more than enough. All right. Now, so there are three types of textiles that are manufactured in India in a nutshell: cotton, silk, and woolen. Okay, for cotton, most of the South Indian states, and then towards, if you go towards the north, you have Agra. Okay, Agra is there. Then we have Kanpur, we have Lucknow also to some extent. All right. Then, then of course, don't forget Bengal for cotton because Calcutta cotton is very famous. Okay. So in Bengal, you can actually mark Hooghly, and Hooghly is there, Howrah is there, that is Howrah. Then comes your cotton, ho gaya, then is silk. Silk, we just saw the 4 places. Then last but not the least, it is woolen. Woolen, all those northern areas like Baramulla, Srinagar, Amritsar, Ludhiana. Then coming towards this side, we have towards Rajasthan, we have Bikaner, we have Jaipur. Then what else? Oh yeah, map is there in front of me. Yeah, then we have Gwalior. All right. Gwalior, Shahjahanpur, and Kanpur is also there to some extent in woolen. These 4 or 5 places you can remember, things will be far easy for you. All right. And just, you don't even have to, as your generation says, by heart or by kidney or by lungs. The word is just to understand and memorize it. Okay. You just understand, think of it logically. What is the climate? What kind of demand would be there? And hence, what would be manufactured over there to a greater extent. From there, we come to the steel making industry. And sorry, I know you cannot see a lot of this. Now, in steel making, the first step involved is transport. What do you transport in steel making? Steel manufacturing? Hathi Ghoda? What do you transport? Anybody? Unmute. Hello? Am I audible or you're not audible? Okay, Anagha, go ahead. What will you manufacture? What will you transport?
Iron ores.
Iron ore. Yes. Then, Namrata, what will be the next step? Just look at the slide and tell me.
Manufacturing, like iron is going to be melted.
Iron ore will be melted. First, you transport that ore. Okay, you transport the iron ore. You actually extract it from nature, from the quarry or from the mines or whatever. And you transport, because you cannot keep it there and actually manufacture iron, no, inside the mine itself. Everything will blast off then. So you extract the ore, you transport it to the factory. Now in the factory, what will happen? In the blast, it will first go into the blast furnace. So in the blast furnace, first the ore is melted, then you add limestone. Okay. Limestone is, you all know what is limestone, na?
Yes.
You all have heard it so many times. Limestone, you add it, because what happens when you add limestone, it gets bound. Okay, it becomes a very good medium. So it gives a good conditioning or something of that sort. I'm not getting the right word, but yeah, it becomes a very good medium. Then after that, they actually heat the coke to melt the iron ore, and to actually melt it more and more, so that the limestone gets thoroughly mixed and it gets bound very properly. Okay. Now, once the ore molten iron is ready, then it is subjected to the next process called as pig iron. Okay. Pig iron means you don't actually bring a pig and pour hot iron on it. Poor thing. Okay. What you do is you pour it into molds. Okay. Just like, have you seen people making cake, baking cake and all? Now, cake, once you make that mix, you pour it in the cake mold, na? The same way we have these molds. Okay, I'll show you a picture of that mold in the next slide. Okay. So you pour that molten material into these molds, and then after that, once it sets, then it is subjected to purification. Once the pouring is done, it is purified. Okay. Now here is where nickel, manganese, chromium, all these minerals are added. And then finally, last but not the least, the metal is given a proper shape. All right. So this is the process. Now, any process, it undergoes a similar step only. You first transport, and then in case of vegetables, if it is potato, okay, making potato chips, then what do? They actually transport it from the farm. They first wash it, then they peel it, washing, peeling, then slicing, and then again, once again, there will be one washing, and then finally it is fried or baked or whatever. Okay. So rather than memorizing it from the steps, you just make a flowchart like this. It will help you. Okay. And a similar flowchart is there in the textbooks also. All right. Okay. Now, this is the pig mold. Okay. This looks like a soap box, no? It is a pig mold. The molten iron is actually poured into these, what do you call it as, boxes or these compartments. Okay. And then you keep adding all the purifying agents and manganese and all that, so that you get as much pure metal as possible. All right. So from here we go to the next process, that is steel industry. Steel on the map. Now, one very, very simple way to remember this steel industry and the iron ore, this is, you get a lot of reddish colored soil. That is because of the presence of iron oxide. All right. So we have steel industry. Mostly the steel industry is there on the eastern side of India. Okay. Jamshedpur, Tata Steel, that's the first industry. Even in the pre-British era, it was not pre-British, sorry, pre-independent era, it was established. Jamshedpur, Tata Steel, all of us know, na? In fact, in Jamshedpur station, you all have seen railway stations? You have seen that yellow color board. Whenever a train is about to enter the station, if we are sitting in the train, you'll see that yellow color board. Okay, giving the name of the station. There it is written Jamshedpur. Within bracket it is written Tata Nagar. The name of the place is also Tata Nagar because Tata Steel was established over there. Okay. So Jamshedpur, Bokaro Steel, then Rourkela, Durgapur. Now these are all also the places where you find lot of coal. Coal and coke. Not that Pepsi Cola wala coke. Okay. Coke is another form of coal only. Okay. C-O-K-E. Now, you cannot heat the blast furnace using our normal LPG gas and all. Okay. Because it needs a lot of heat. Okay. So that is why what do? They actually use coal. Now, Durgapur, then Bhilai, all these areas, they also have coal fields. Okay, Chhattisgarh, then there is Jharkhand, Coal India Limited. It is situated in those places only. Okay, so it becomes easier for them. They are getting both coal also and they are getting iron ore also. All right. So that is the reason we have a lot of the maximum steel industry concentration is on the eastern side of India. All right. Then we have Salem Steel. One best way to remember Salem is just visit your kitchen. 90% of your vessels are from Salem. Okay. They have big vessel manufacturers over there. So it is called Salem Steel. Salem Steel is very famous. Then another is Vishakhapatnam, Vijayanagar and Bhadravati. Vishakhapatnam, Vijayanagar, Bhadravati, Salem. All right. Apart from the eastern parts of India. Now, eastern parts of India, which are there? Which are the places? Anish, go ahead.
Durgapur,
Then?
Jamshedpur,
Yes, Durgapur, Jamshedpur, Rourkela. Okay. Bhilai, Bokaro. Durgapur, Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Bhilai, Bokaro. You remember these 5 places. Then the other parts of India, Vishakhapatnam, Vijayanagar, Bhadravati, Salem. All right. Shall we move forward? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, then comes the software technology, the in thing of India now. Everything is IT, no? Even this class is also IT for us, right? Information technology. So, software technology parks are located, one in Mysore, Bangalore, Pune. Okay, Mysore, Infosys, the big campus is there. Wipro also big campus is there in Mysore and Bangalore. Then in Pune, you have all Infosys, Wipro, then HCL, IBM, HAN, then all of them are there. Okay. So all the, apart from the main metro cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Delhi, you also, sorry, it's not there in Delhi, it's in Noida. Okay. Software Technology Park is not there in Delhi. Software Technology Park is in Noida. Because in New Delhi, you have mostly all the government offices and all that. Okay. There are some, but there are very few. Nothing very significant to call it worth as a software technology park. Okay. So Noida, it is there. Then you have Pune, Mysore, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata. Kolkata, I already said, na? Yeah. Then we have Vishakhapatnam, Bhubaneswar, Guwahati. All right, Guwahati, that is Assam. Okay. And in the extreme north, Jammu Kashmir area, you have it in Srinagar. In Punjab, you have it in Mohali. One way to remember Mohali is your Mohali cricket series. Not Mohali cricket series. What Mohali, some cricket stadium, something is there, no? There is something to do with cricket in Mohali. That much I know. Okay. So just remember the map. More than half your life is going to be very easy. Not just for this chapter, for all the other chapters also. Okay. So with that, we come to the end of this explanation session. Now, I think we have about 20 minutes. Yes, exact. 20 minutes remaining to discuss the question answers. Okay, 1 minute. I'll just stop the screen share. So while I just hunt for the mouse, here it is. Now you all tell me, what is the significance of manufacturing industries?
Reduce unemployment.
Yes, very nice. Then,
Modernize
Development,
agriculture.
yes, Anish, yes, you were saying something.
economic development.
Economic development, yes, economic development, reduce unemployment, increase of foreign exchange, right? Okay, so here is another question for you. Why is it that sugar mills are located near the sugar producing area?
Easy for transportation.
You have to be very precise. Easy for transportation, so everything is easy for transportation. So you can locate everything just near the harvest or farm or mine area or what.
Easy for getting raw materials.
The main reason over here is sugar cane is perishable. Okay. Perishable means it gets spoiled very easily and very quickly. So what is happening? You cannot transport it to long distance. As soon as it is harvested, you have to take it out to produce sugar. Okay. You cannot wait for 4-5 days for it to reach the factory and then produce the sugar, because the sucrose content, it dries up very quickly. Sugarcane contains sucrose. That is the reason you actually use it for manufacturing sugar. Okay. Now, it dries up very quickly. So within 24 hours of harvest, you have to start processing it for sugar manufacturing. Okay. So that is the reason sugar producing area is concentrated mainly near the sugarcane harvesting area, near the farm itself. All right. Now, another question that can be asked over here is, why sugar mill is concentrated in the southern and western parts of India? If you have noticed, it's more in the southern and western part of India. The sugar mills, or rather the sugar industry. Why is that so?
Sugar canes are produced more in the southern and western part of India.
It is produced in UP, Bihar also. Ganne ka juice is very famous over there. The reason over here is it has more sucrose content. Okay, it has more sucrose content, and the climatic condition is more suitable for more amount of crushing season. Okay, you can get more harvest, so the crushing season can be prolonged. Otherwise, if you go to the extreme, not extreme north, I mean UP or Bihar, those areas and all, the crushing season is very short. It is very seasonal. Okay, but here in the southern or western parts of India, in the Ghat areas and all, it is not seasonal. I mean, it is seasonal, of course, but you can prolong that season. Okay, and the yield is, of course, per hectare yield is higher in the southern parts of India. All right. Now, this question is something I asked during the session also. Why iron and steel is called as a basic industry? The reason is very simple. All the other industries are dependent on iron and steel for the machinery. Okay, like once that pig iron, the molds, once the iron is set and it is sold here and there, then people actually buy it and they make machinery, they make rods, they make vessels, they make a lot of different things out of it. Okay, so that processing of iron ore to a proper pig iron, the cast iron, that itself is a process. And then that iron is again used for making finished goods, which we all use in our homes or for construction purposes, etc. Okay, so that is the reason it is called as a basic industry. Okay. Then, and there is one question which was very important. I marked it. As usual, when I want it, I cannot find it. Yeah. Then in Chota Nagpur Plateau, Chota Nagpur region, you find a lot of iron and steel industries. Okay. The reason is very simple. Iron ore mined over here is at a very low cost, and the high grade raw materials, not law, high grade raw materials are more easily available. Okay, that is the reason it is more concentrated in the Chota Nagpur area. Then there was one particular question which I wanted you all to answer. Give me 1 minute, please. Yeah. This I did not discuss because I knew if I start discussing all this, we will run out of time. That's why. What is the importance of chemical industry in the Indian economy? Chemical industry. Anybody? Come on, unmute yourself. I'm not a very strict teacher, okay? All right, now I'll start calling your names, okay? Tanushree.
It's the fast growing and diversifying industry in India.
It's a fast growing industry in India. Okay, fine. Now, another thing over here is Now, chemical industry, we use it for a lot of different items. Like we use it for chemical fertilizers, to manufacture soap, then to manufacture medicines, rubber, plastic, a lot of different things, right? So it has its own large consumer. Okay. So all the basic chemicals, they already undergo a lot of processing to make more chemicals from it. All right. That is why chemical industry is very fast and diversifying, not only in inorganic, but also in organic chemicals. Okay. Now, approximately 3 to 5% is the contribution of chemical industry to the GDP, to the total GDP. Okay. And in India, and India in the entire Asia, it occupies a 12th position. Sorry, in the India in the entire Asia, it is third. In the world, it is 12th position when it comes to the size of chemical industry. Okay, I repeat myself. The size of chemical industry in Asia, it is a third largest, and in the entire world, it is a 12th largest industry, the chemical industry in India. All right, and it has both small scale also and large scale industries, and we use a large amount of chemicals for a lot of different things like soap manufacturing, rubber, plastic, pharmaceuticals, and even cosmetics. Okay, and also the basic chemicals, we don't take the chemicals just ऐसे ही and we dump it and manufacture other goods. The basic chemicals are further processed, from which we make more chemicals, and then it is used for agriculture or for other big industrial applications, or maybe directly into the consumer market. Okay. So one example directly that hits the consumer market is your baking soda. Okay, baking soda and washing soda. They directly hit the consumer market. Then, all right, now moving further, now this is a very important question. What is the position of India in the world with regard to producing nitrogenous fertilizers? Okay, this is a very, very important question, because we have in India, we have like nitrogenous fertilizers are used to a large extent for a lot of agricultural purposes, what do you call it as harvest. Okay, harvest is not the right term again. I'm running out of the words. For cultivation in agriculture, it is used. So urea, it's a nitrogenous fertilizer. Similarly, ammonium sulfate, it is yet another nitrogen fertilizer. So there are in the entire country, we have about 57 units manufacturing nitrogenous fertilizers. Okay. So 29 of them are in urea, then 9 of them for ammonium sulfate, and the rest are for other smaller byproducts. This is for nitrogenous. Then we have about 10 public sector undertaking concentrated especially in the nitrogenous sector. And we have one unit located in Gujarat, in Hazira, in this place called Hazira in Gujarat. And it is run by the government, the Fertilizer Corporation of India. All right. So these are some of the reasons India has become the third largest nitrogenous fertilizer producer. India is the third largest nitrogenous fertilizer producer. Okay. This is one question that can be asked in the map, saying that mark one place that is managed by the Fertilizer Corporation of India. One unit, okay, managed by the Fertilizer Corporation of India. And the unit is, it's a cooperative sector located at Hazira in Gujarat. All right, it's located at Hazira in Gujarat. So please mark it. Otherwise, when it is asked, you'll be like, achoo, I forgot. Okay. All right. Now, cement industry. Where is cement used? This is my actually last question, because other questions about water pollution and all that, it is important, but then that is more self-explanatory. Where is cement used? Unmute.
Construction.
Construction.
Buildings.
Yes, constructing buildings, right? And in the past 15 to 20 years, there has been a rapid increase in the number of buildings coming up both in cities as well as in the rural areas, right? Now, one reason, or not just one, there are three reasons, but one major reason why there is a rapid expansion of cement industry is because there is no more controlling of cement price by the government. Since the year 1989, the government they undertook a decontrolling or decentralization of cement prices as well as a cement distribution. Okay, and they introduced a lot of different kinds of policies and different policy reforms, which actually helped in expanding the capacity of cement manufacturing, the processing, the production, technology, etc. Okay. Now, today in India, we have about 332 smaller cement plants and 128 large plants that produce cement. Okay. 332 small plants and 128 large plants in India. All right. Okay, so these were some of the important questions. Now, what I want you to do is, you go through the textbook. Keep the map open. Okay. Mind you, don't buy heart, buy kidney, or buy lungs your answers. Just look at the map, read the points, understand the points very logically. How do you understand the points very logically? One very simple example I'll give you. The question is this. The question is, air pollution is hazardous to health. Okay. And you know what the child wrote? The child wrote all about definition of air pollution, what causes air pollution, because of air pollution, what is caused to us. And conclusion, because of the above reasons, air pollution is hazardous to health. It was a 4-mark answer. Not 4 mark. I think it was 3 mark or something. And the child only got 1 mark after writing this big Ramayana. Okay. You know why? Because the child did not write the main point that we cannot control the air we breathe. That is the main reason why air pollution is hazardous to health. And you know who that student was? Me. This happened to me in my 7th standard. Okay. So be very precise in your points. Be very cut short. Okay. Why is manufacturing industry important? It reinforces employment and reduces poverty. Reinforces employment means it reduces unemployment and reduces poverty. That's the first and foremost thing. Okay, then second thing, it modernizes agriculture. But these 2 points are there, a lot of things are assured. Okay, then the rest of the things are logical, no? You just simply think and things will just flow off, right? Okay, so now what you all should do apart from reading the textbook, another very important thing is, don't just keep on reading and reading and reading. Solve the question papers. And I stress on the word solve, not reading it, writing it. Okay, every day solve 2 question papers. 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. Same subject, 2 question papers. You solve it in the morning. It doesn't matter even if you don't know the answer. Just write whatever comes into your mind. Whatever comes in your mind, you write it. Okay, the examiner will decide whether he or she has to give you marks or no. Okay, And this is one principle throughout your life. Whatever is there, just do it. Later, people will decide karna hai, whether it is justified, not justified, and all that. All right. And stop studying, start revising. Every day, keep a timetable. One day, one subject. Monday, math. Tuesday, English, or whatever. Like that. Keep one subject. Solve one paper in the morning. Then revise, go back, look at what are your mistakes, what you could have done better. And then again in the afternoon or in the evening, solve one more paper. Again, just go back, revise, look at what are your mistakes, how you could have improved. Okay, every day solve. You might end up solving the same paper two or three times. That is also okay, but you get a flow of writing. Okay. And you get the flow of thinking when you're writing. If I'm writing the in my hand with my pen, I'm writing the, but here my process is happening. What is the next word? Okay. So that flow will come. All right. Okay, then I hope you all enjoyed the session. In case you have any doubts, please don't hesitate. Simply mail vidyadan.india@gmail.com. VIDYADAAN India, INDIA @gmail.com. All in small letters. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Stay healthy, eat good food, and minimize your out food. The day your exams get over, you can binge on eating from out. No problem. Okay. But stay healthy, eat good food, and stay worry free. Enjoy your life.